Doug met with Beyond Stillness 13 times to articulate and publicly share this story of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope. To learn more about our programs, services, or to sponsor a guest on their story crafting journey, please visit www.beyondstillness.org. Today we welcome guest Doug Alford. Before his stroke 2 years ago, he served as a mediator, helping organizations and individuals navigate change. Now, he applies those same tools to his own recovery. Doug shares reflections on fear, vulnerability, and the challenge to rebuild a life forever changed. Join us as Doug reveals 5 tools to adapt when life shifts in ways we never choose. Thank you for joining us for Part 1, Doug Alford's story.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Stillness Stories After Stroke. Stroke offers a powerful, life-changing shift in perspective. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Beyond Stillness offers a moment of pause for storytelling and reflection. Ultimately, we create a welcoming environment that reveres the moment beyond stroke's paralysis. Still moments unite humanity and divinity. I'm your host, Molly Bucola. As we begin today, we take a moment of pause, a moment to honor the way that wisdom has emerged through recovery. And we give thanks. Now, Doug Alford's story read by Damian Cohen.
Helping people navigate the messy human side of change has been a deeply rewarding part of my professional life. Change is never just a process. It's personal. So how do we make it work? As a mediator, I go deep. My job is to figure out the problem. I ask honest questions that help gain clarity and get closer to a plan for navigating and addressing the challenge. I have a whole new look at the process. I'm here today to offer professional expertise and personal experience. I survived a stroke 2 years ago, and I'm navigating this massive shift in my own life. I'm trying to apply my professional process for helping individuals and teams navigate change to my own stroke recovery in hopes that you, fellow stroke survivors, will also find wisdom in the approach. In March 2023, while recovering from heart surgery in the hospital, I woke to a swarm of medical professionals poking, hovering, and buzzing about me. What happened? Where am I? They didn't hear me because no words came out. I tried to move my arms, but was connected to so many things. I tried to move my legs. Nothing happened. They weren't responding. This is not good. I panicked. I didn't know anyone in the room. There were so many lights and cameras and tubes and people glancing my way. Oh shit. Something is really, really wrong. It was terrifying. A few days later, I gained the ability to turn my neck. Thank God. I needed to change my view. I moved my head a bit. I had no feeling on my right side. I was under the sheet, trying to move my arms, but the sheet must have been so heavy because I couldn't move. Am I paralyzed from the neck down? I was conscious enough to wonder what was going on. I stared at the sheet and watched it rise a little. There's something there, I thought. There's movement. Throughout the day, I gradually figured out how to raise my arms above the sheets. Ha! I can do it. Wait, this is all I can do? Reality was setting in. I was surprised, confused, frustrated, angry, and terrified. I wanted more information. I had so many unanswered questions. Much of the hospital was a blur. Everything was happening to me and around me. It was a difficult reality to grasp. Everything was still happening to me. My world totally changed, and it wasn't my choice. These challenges had been thrust upon me. Today, I call on my mediation process that helps individuals and teams navigate change. I will explain how it applies to my own recovery and welcome you, fellow stroke survivors, into the approach. As a mediator, when I arrive on scene, my first question is, can they adapt? Usually when individuals first hear change is upon them, they immediately respond with fear, frustration, anger, blame, and are flooded with questions. Why me? Sound familiar? When I returned home and time passed, reality settled right in, where it wasn't yet welcome. I struggled finding words, reading, and remembering things. The purposeful job I loved so much was put on hold. My friends didn't know how to interact with me, and I began to feel isolated. I spend so much time in therapy, working to regain my skills, while the world seems to be passing me by. This is very difficult for me, and I'm reminded of people with whom I work. As they grapple with the unknown, they ask, what do people think of me? Are my skills still useful? How is this going to affect me? I usually sit with them and try to process the daunting road ahead. Change is challenging. When faced with change, people wonder where they fit and fear being cast aside. They want to keep up, remain involved, and contribute purposely, but don't know how. They can't quite envision what it will look like yet. Sound familiar? And almost always, the immediate answer to the initial question, can I adapt, is yes. But that yes is weighed by all the thoughts and emotions I previously mentioned. Fear, anger, frustration, blame, doubt, unanswered questions as people grapple with the unknown. What do people think of me? Are my skills still useful? How is this going to affect me? Then, as a mediator, I sit with each individual and team, listen and observe. It's important to try to understand the dynamics and offer an opportunity to voice these thoughts and emotions. At first in recovery, I didn't know what to do with the thoughts and emotions. Sometimes I still don't. They are overwhelming. But I found some tools that are helpful. Sometimes I list my emotions, then try to rank them on a line between destructive and healthy. This process helps me sit, listen, and observe the thoughts and emotions and offers me a space to voice them. I try to look at them objectively, as if I'm my own mediator. I tell organizations that teams and individuals will gripe when change is thrust upon them, but that's natural and part of the growth process. They should expect it. Providing a non-judgmental space for people to voice their emotions, thoughts, and concerns can be cleansing and is a necessary part of the process. Sound familiar? Once they say, yes, I can adapt, while also voicing their thoughts and feelings, then the real work begins. I always tell individuals and teams that it'll be harder than they think. Change is hard, especially when it's not your choice. At first, we don't know exactly how to move through change, and that breeds doubt. But once there's a glimpse of potential in the process and people involved, I stress the importance of tools, skills, and mindsets to move through change. First, people need to be on board with the overall purpose, the mission. Now I ask myself, what's my purpose? Listeners, it's important for you to ask yourselves the same question. What are you aiming for? What gets you through the tough days? Why are you striving to regain abilities? What do you hope to offer others? Mine may not be surprising. I've always found purpose in opening conversation with people as they navigate and move through life's challenges. So tool number 1, clarify your mission and purpose. Before I regained the ability to speak, I was terrified I wouldn't be able to open conversation with people as they navigate change and move through life's challenges. I'm sure I would have found a way to adapt. I could sit with people or offer gestures. I could be there for them, but I'm thankful I'm still able to open conversation, offer support, and listen. When in doubt or looking for motivation, remember your mission and purpose. Tool number 1. Tool number 2, will. That's right, will. Grit and perseverance will be necessary when the going gets tough. One must be willing to take on the challenge. Yes, I can adapt, but I have to want to do it. I have to have the will to move forward. That is a choice, and it is a choice I make every day. I make that choice every hour of every day. It's not yet a habit, but the more I choose to grind and persevere, the more progress I make. Tool number 2, will. Tool number 3, flexibility. A necessary tool when adapting to change is flexibility. Plan A in navigating change very rarely plays out. There will be a plan B, C, D, etc. I've had to adjust my visions and goals along the way. Initially, I was ready to go back to work, then realized I would need more time to regain abilities. I looked at the reality of my situation and had to be flexible. The reality is that my brain is still healing and I need more time in therapy. And I can still engage with people at work in a different way. I'm serving as a mentor to someone in the company as they seek to develop their own skills. I have to be flexible and appreciate that role. I'm still living my life's purpose. It just looks a lot different for now. Tool number 3, flexibility. Tool number 4, respect self and others. Change is agitating. When people undergo change, they often lose patience with their teammates while also seeing themselves in a negative light. Right now, I feel I'm in a losing friend stage. People just don't understand. That hurts. It's painful and disappointing. Then I wonder where I fit. I start doubting myself. I'm losing respect for myself and others. I have other friends who are going through very difficult times and have sought me out and shared their journeys with me. I'm not sure if this is because I'm known as someone who helps people through difficult times or if it's because I'm going through this difficult time myself. Moments like these help me regain self-respect and respect others. I'm also reminded that sometimes people just don't understand, and that's not their fault. We are all doing the best we can. When our worlds are shaken and we go through change, it is important to remember that we are all worthy of respect and are in varying stages of our process through change. When I remember to look at myself in a positive light and offer myself respect, I'm more likely to be flexible and willing to move through recovery. That helps me reach toward my ultimate mission and purpose. Tool number 4, respect self and others. Tool number 5, clear and consistent communication. We don't want to rock the boat, but change does just that. Remember when I said, as a mediator, I go deep? That's necessary on every level. Individuals and teams need to check in with each other during every step of the process. Change is difficult, and when we know the reason behind actions, we are more likely to offer compassion, support, and work together to overcome challenges. Lately, I've had to be vulnerable with others. It's very uncomfortable to share parts of my recovery that are difficult, yet the few people with whom I've shared now have a deeper understanding of my perspective, and our relationship has grown stronger. In a way, I'm inviting my team in so that we can address change together. My wife and I are in the process of downsizing and moving to a new home. Moves are always stressful, yet this process has forced us to confront many changes and challenges. It has been extremely important for us to communicate every step of the way. Assumptions further isolation, doubt, frustration. Our communication has been a key tool in navigating our move and recovery. Tool number 5, clear and consistent communication. So as a toolbox recap, number 1, clarify your mission and purpose. Number 2, will. Number 3, flexibility. Number 4, respect self and others. Number 5, clear and consistent communication. At one point, while in the rehabilitation facility, my wife Carolyn and kids teamed with the nursing staff. They maneuvered my body from the bed to a table, then strapped me down. It was confusing, scary, frustrating, and uncomfortable. My loved ones and therapists were there with me, cheering me on, believing in the process. I felt disoriented. Then they tilted the table to stand my body upright. I hadn't seen the world from that perspective in quite a while. Once standing in that position, Carolyn stepped in front of me and we embraced. I realized that the whole point of all their work was to set me face to face with the woman I love and get me in position to offer myself, my heart, and my love to her. We shared that moment together, and it was a step toward recovery. It was amazing and magical and frustrating and terrifying, and reality smacked me in the head, and there was an audience, a dozen people in the room. It is the most vivid hospital experience. It was a minute at most. I was in the upright position. It was purposeful, positive, and incredibly terrifying. That memory is one that can guide me, us, forward. Today I offer this process for navigating change because it is just that, a process. I'm not sure where you are in this process, but ultimately, your perspective will shift too. We may need a lot of help to stand upright again, but in time, we will adapt and find a new way to offer ourselves, our hearts, and our love to the world. As a side note, this whole process will take longer than you think. Changing habits of individuals and of teams is a big feat. Give yourselves grace, breaks, and change expectations. You may not see the benefits right away, but you need to make these tools habits right away. You won't get it right the first time, and possibly for a while, but it will come. Believe in the process and get out of your own way. May this process for navigating change offer you a purposeful way forward too.
Storytelling empowers us to share our experiences in a way that invites others to reflect on their own. To close, here's a reflection question to spark dialogue with yourself, friends, family, or fellow stroke survivors. I'll read the community conversation prompt now. You'll also find it in the episode description. In what ways has vulnerability become one of your strengths? We'd love to hear your reflections. Join the conversation on Facebook or Instagram at Stories After Stroke.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Another way to support is to like, share, or subscribe to our weekly show.
Thank you for listening to Part 1, Doug Alford's story. Stick with us for Part 2, Doug Alford's interview. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Doug shows us that even when life turns upside down, we can still adapt, and that finding a way forward often begins with a clear purpose and willingness to try again. Remember, as part of the stroke community, you are more than supportive. You are inspirational. If this episode resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a review to help others find our stories too. To support more stroke survivors in articulating and sharing their journeys, please consider donating to Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke. Together, We amplify diverse stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope.